Hello, welcome to Gehenna Gaming. My name is Stephanie Allen, and I'm going to be our game master for tonight and for the next couple of Thursday nights as we play Witchburner by Luka Rejec and Wizard Thief Fighter Studio. We'll get back to our game just a second. Let's meet our cast. Please introduce yourselves and let everyone know what character you're playing. Kristina, start us off.
Hey, I'm Kristina, and I will be playing your sad boy veteran character, Mateo.
Excellent. Hiromi?
Hi, I'm Hiromi. I'm playing Gillin, the non-binary zealot, which sounds way cooler than it is.
I believe in
I
your
think.
ability to
Cool.
make it that cool, though.
Yeah, it's that cool.
Awesome. Miellyn?
I'm Miellyn. I'm playing Renny. She's very charismatic. Everybody loves her.
And Ian.
Hi, I'm Ian, and I am playing Quiet Boy, shy, quiet boy, Robin, who has absolutely no secrets, none at all.
None.
Certainly. Awesome. And that just leaves me again. My name is Stephanie Allen. I am one half of Charm Person Games. We're a queer, women owned professional game master for hire service based out of Baltimore. You can find me mostly here on Gehenna. On Monday nights, I play Creed of the Fae in our Monster Hearts game. And I run other games from time to time on the show as well. As I said, our game tonight is Witchburner. It's a system neutral module written by Luka Rejec. We're using the resistance system to play with characters and so on that I wrote. It's an intimate, claustrophobic delve into witch hunting. The town of the Bridge of St. Cleareyes, or Bridge as the locals call it, has hired our party to find the witch causing chaos and destruction in their midst. If they can do it within a month, they've been promised a hefty cash reward. But if they take too long to find the witch, or they're too harsh with the locals, they are risking a mob forming to burn them as the witches. Everybody has something to hide in our story tonight. So, let's continue our story about witch hunting. Synopsis of last week. Party arrived at Bridge, learned of some disasters that have already befallen the town. Rotting fish washing up on the shore with burned in handprints, a black cat found gutted and nailed upon the doors of the schoolhouse. A child was born with a third eye that cried the name of an unknown god when it was born. And the wheat wilted black and the pumpkins cracked and oozed in the fields. Party investigated the fish, the cat, and the crops, and haven't really come up with much further clues. But they have been investigating some other calamities that have happened. Red snails that smelled of brimstone and swarms of hairy caterpillars have largely destroyed everyone's kitchen gardens in town. And Petra Inksblood, the town notary, suddenly fell ill with a disease that has left her covered in pustules and boils. Our party has been talking to the townspeople, investigating, trying to find the switch, and accusations and gossip abound. Goran Warglory, a clerk for the storemaster, says he doesn't trust Ivan Clockmaker. He also said that he could not imagine that Jonah Prizepiece, the doctor's husband, would be capable of hurting anyone. Ivan Clockmaker accused Peppy, the cook of the Little Water Inn, of witchcraft. Lana Staffson, his wife, says she doesn't trust Krista Changemaker, the captain of the city guard. Krista suggested Nina Dukeskit, the town midwife, might know more about the infant with the third eye. Megan Woodhoof named Victoria Townsman, the town storemaster, as someone with evil eyes. And she also said that Leah Takewood, who also works at the dairy with Megan, is an especially religious woman. The party also spoke to Jeremiah Hammerbreaker, town drunk. And he talked about strange sights and sounds at the old Fox Hills in the town, in the hills. He also said that he doesn't trust Carl Foundling, the wild child who lives in town. Gregor Inksblood, Petra's cousin, said he saw a dark shadow moving from under the door of the doctor's home, and his stepdaughter, Veronica, has a large hand shaped birthmark on her leg. And lastly, Dr. Cleanline implicated Ivan Clockmaker, who was also not respected by his wife or welcome at the inn. We learned all of that in 2.5 days. So it is now the morning, the 4th day. It's cold. There's lots of fog as you see out the windows as you make your way, I assume, downstairs to the common room of the inn. Are you guys heading downstairs, or are you hanging out in your room? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, all Renny wants is a cup of coffee.
Okay. So it's not particularly hard to find Anya, the wife of the innkeeper. And she brings you out some coffee when she sees you all come downstairs, and she looks kind of worried and absent. She's not particularly looking at any of you, doesn't seem to paying a whole lot of attention.
I say to her, "Good morning. How are you today?" And I look at her intensely.
She kind of is snapped a little bit out of her reverie. Says, "Oh, good morning. I'm fine."
Are you?
No. She folds immediately. She doesn't even try. She says, "Ursula's missing."
Since when?
Since this morning, I suppose. I woke up and she wasn't in bed, and I haven't seen her all morning. I mean, she's always up early. We have an end to run, but I can't find her. I don't know where she's at.
Did you notice anything unusual?
No. It was fine. We went to bed last night. She mentioned something about we'd have to look ahead to plan for food since we're not going to have the wheat and the pumpkins like we normally do. We'd have to be thinking about how we would need to buy supplies or something, and then we didn't talk about it anymore, and we went to bed, and then she just wasn't there when I woke up this morning.
Did you notice anything unusual about your chambers?
Not specifically.
Are you sure?
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I think something would have stuck out if it was unusual.
Oh, well, let's have some coffee.
Right. She just pours some coffee and keeps her worried expression. She walks back towards the back of the inn.
Anya, before you go,
Yes.
is there anywhere that anyone that Ursula might know that doesn't live here? Does she have contacts, maybe other innkeepers, traders?
Friends outside of the town, outside of Bridge, you mean?
Yes.
Well, yes. There are traders that come through every so often. Occasionally, we go to, the eastern or western cities to do some trade, to get supplies. Not very often. Again, we have an inn to run, but sometimes.
Does she tell you before she goes?
Oh, yeah, always.
I turn to Robin and whisper, "She's totally dead."
How lightly do you whisper? Do you try to keep that a secret? Do you try to keep Anya from overhearing? Or
I try to keep her from overhearing, but I'm not that concerned with it. Just mostly concerned with it.
Okay. Do you want to make a roll to see to keep
Sure.
it from her? Okay.
All right. Oh, viewers, I did not separate out my D10s. All right.
So do you have
I
any?
rolled a 10.
Ooh, critical success. Okay. All right.
I'm just gonna nod, and I'm actually gonna walk towards the back exit of the inn and take a look outside.
Excellent. How much stress do you have? What's your
Me?
No.
Oh, okay.
Miellyn, what's the highest stress you have?
All the stress. I have 2 goodwill and 3 body.
So you're good for now.
Okay.
All right. All right. So Anya does not hear you say that, but Robin apparently nods in agreement and heads out the back.
Yep. I want to take a look around.
Okay. So it's basically like a chicken yard. It's not particularly large, but there's a
Yep.
couple chickens back there, little path to the outhouse. Okay.
Can I do a bit of a study? I'll look,
Sure.
see if there's tracks leading from the inn or signs of someone who was out here early this morning.
Sure.
Okay. I have an 8.
Excellent. Okay. So an 8 is a success with
Mhm.
no stress. Luckily for you, I rolled a 10 on the stress roll, so you don't experience fallout. So you take a look around, and there definitely are tracks. This is also how people get to the outhouse. There
Yep.
aren't a lot of people staying at the inn, especially this late in the year. Most of the traders are done, but you can see fresher tracks from uh, Anya and the cook, you assume, and one or two other people, but not very many. There is a set of tracks that lead, out of the yard, and then you kind of lose them as you get closer to the road where the dirt is firmer.
Okay.
Are you looking for anything else in particular, or just tracks?
Couple things. So if there's a sign of a struggle or blood or anything, I need to roll another. I would get to roll another die if I had done this, but anything magical in nature, maybe sigils or something else strange. But while I'm out here by myself, I would also like to find that fish.
Oh, if fighting the fish is easy. It's rotting
Yeah.
in a box out near the outhouse. It's got a very large stone placed on top of it to hopefully keep out like animals.
Okay.
But there you'd see no signs of struggle,
Okay.
no blood. I am going to make a unrelated roll.
Okay. And I'm just gonna collect some scales from that fish and put them in one of my little glass vials and slip that away and then put it back where I found it.
Okay.
I love your glass vials.
Me too.
As you are digging around in that box and plucking out some fish scales, I think you see a scrap of burlap sticking out from underneath the edge of the outhouse, is kind of like up on some cinder blocks.
Mhm.
And I see like a scrap of burlap sticking out from underneath there, like it's wrapped around something.
I will go investigate.
All right, and you pull it out, and there's definitely a couple of things loose, like wrapped up in the burlap, and you unwind it and find a pair of red shoes with some rhinestone-studded buckles. They are
Fancy.
gorgeous.
Not my style, but fancy.
Are they my size?
Find out.
All right, so while Robin is poking around in the back, what are Gillin, Mateo, and Renny doing inside?
Gonna cheer Anya up with a brief sermon of the water drinker and tell her that she doesn't have to be concerned. She just needs to place her faith in the river of life. It might branch. There might be multiple directions that you don't see coming, but all rivers run to the sea.
I take out my flask and pour a little into my coffee while he's talking because I'm so accustomed to him doing this. And it
So-
helps me listen.
All right, so Gillin, make a roll for me to see how inspired Anya is here.
Well, I have a lot of dice, and none of them are very good. 6.
A 6. Okay, how many dice did you roll?
3.
3. Okay, excellent. So a 6 is a success at a cost. So you start up a sermon, a bit of an impromptu sermon. This isn't one of your rehearsed ones, one of the ones you practiced, talking about the branching ways that life can take us, and we just need to trust in the water drinker. And Anya at first seems a little confused, but then is rapidly like, okay, yes, I do have to trust. She's agreeing with you. She's nodding. She's fully, like, completely facing you, just like almost forgotten that she's holding a pitcher of coffee. It's like, yes, yes. And then, as sometimes happens, your preaching gets a little away from you. And you start to go off on a metaphor about the whirling eddy pools that can like suck you down sometimes, and it's making perfect sense to you, but you're losing her a little bit. You're just kind of losing Anya's connection. She's not feeling so comforted anymore. Um, you manage to get it back on track after a minute or two, but not super great there. So you're gonna take 1 stress to your mind. Oh, what's your mind stress at before you added this one?
That was the first point of stress.
Okay, so you're good. Just barely.
So
What was
ominous.
Mateo? What was Mateo doing?
He was probably listening to Gillen's sermon and might have like squeezed their shoulder or like grabbed their hand a little when they started getting a little like,
Kind of losing the thread there.
Yeah. But I think he's also going to be kind of looking into the kitchen, remembering that Peppy had been accused of dabbling in witchcraft, and it had seemed like a fairly credible accusation from what I recall.
Okay, let's take a look. So you can see into the kitchen a bit. It's open. There's a door, but it's just not usually closed to make it easier to get through. And you see a man in there with like a neat brown beard, and he's pretty compactly built. He's a little bit shorter, but he's got like really strong looking legs, got strong looking arms, and you can see him. He's like kneading dough to make bread, you assume.
Okay. I'll just kind of stare at him a little. Kind of wait to see if he notices.
Wait to see what? Sorry.
Wait to see if he notices. Some people, they can kind of pick up when someone's looking at them. I'm just going to blatantly stare at this man.
Evens or odds?
Odds.
He notices, and he kind of like looks up and makes eye contact with you, and looks kind of deer in the headlights look, and he like dough covered fingers, and then he just kind of like gets back into his dough. You can see he's kind of like beating himself up a little bit, like that was dumb. Why did I do that?
Okay. Just establishing myself in his psyche, I suppose.
All right. Okay. All right. So, yes, Renny.
Renny puts her feet up on the table. She announces to the group, to the whole, what would you call it? Tavern.
The inn, the common room at the inn.
Who wants to buy a Witchburner some breakfast?
Actually, it's covered. The council is seeing. Oh.
And then I say it again real loud. Who wants to buy the Witchburner some breakfast?
There's like a very awkward silence in the inn. Jeremiah has just recently stumbled in like in the middle of Gillen's morning sermon here. And is like very like studiously not looking at you as he's like starting to drink his beer. You take a second to realize that he must have like leaned over the counter and like gotten it from underneath and pulled it up, because Anya's over where you are. There's no one else. But he's also just sitting there drinking it, so probably it's fine. And let's see, who else is in the inn?
Renny yells, "Not you, Jeremiah."
It's fine. Don't have money.
It's cool, everybody. Everybody knows you're broke.
Yeah. Okay, and I think the only other person in the inn is a man.
Oh,
in
then
the
I'm
corner.
Definitely talking to the man in the corner.
Let's see. Get him up here. He is kind of sour-faced. You know, he's kind of got this
My favorite.
expression on his face, and he's very athletic looking. He's just like kind of blinking around a lot. He's sitting in the corner, kind of not fully seeing what's there. He's wearing what looks like a homemade uniform of grays and blues. It's got a cap on. You can see kind of like a leather like cord around his neck that goes underneath his shirt, and he's just kind of.
Is he acknowledging me at all?
You think the second time you yell it, he looks at you, and he says, "I have no money, but I'll buy you breakfast."
It's all right. It's paid for. Come over here. I like the uniform that your mom made you.
I made this.
Oh, even better.
He comes over.
Sit
sits
down. I pat like next to me.
Just for record keeping, we're calling this morning watch over, and now we're moving into afternoon watch.
I'm sorry I wasted all their time.
I did things.
It's fine. We got some
Yes.
shoes.
Oh, that's true. We all did things. Oh yeah, the ruby slippers. I'm excited. Okay.
He comes and he like very easily joins you. I think he sits in Robin's vacated seat because it's very clearly a place where a fourth person would sit for your group.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
Hello.
Are you hungry?
Yes, always.
Me too. Let's eat. Tell me everything you know. That's all I say. Like there's a big period at the end of that sentence.
All right. We'll pull back around to that. What is Robin doing outside?
You said there were a couple items in the burlap sack?
2 shoes.
Oh, just 2 shoes. Okay, that's a couple.
It is.
Nothing else. I collected some fish scales and put it back. So, are there any other animals in town? Like dogs, cats?
Yeah, you've seen several
Okay.
dogs and cats. You've noticed 1 or 2 people seem to have birds, which is interesting.
Okay.
People do keep like cows, chickens, pigs,
Yeah.
depending on the size of their house.
Okay. Yeah, it was just because of I was wondering if like animals were going missing or something like that.
You haven't heard of anything happening to animals other than the cat.
Okay.
There's a stable out there with no horse in it, and there are several chickens.
I'm gonna go back inside and find my
Okay.
group and see if we can go check out the river because that's something we wanted to do today.
Excellent. So you walk in, and there's a man sitting in your seat, talking to Renny and Gillin and Mateo, eagerly and excitedly. And what he's telling the 3 of you is a story about what he is calling the history of the Great War that birthed the Bridge Spirit. He's happy to announce, he tells you he's a soldier in the Army of Glory, and he knows that true history and how the Bridge Spirit came to be, and he's telling you this very intense story, making very, very intense eye contact. Animated, ripping into bread, shoving it, talking through full mouth.
I stop him. I go, great story. I'm here to talk about witches.
I thought you were here to burn a witch.
Point me in the right direction.
He stops and thinks.
And what is your name, by the way?
He takes off his cap and like bows to you from his seat. He says, Blaze Knockwood.
I always love the name Blaze.
And then he turns and he stares at each of you in turn, and he says, I saw someone spit on the idol of love in front of the townhouse.
No.
Hmm.
And who was it?
And
Also, would we know what the idol of love is?
a minor deity. There are many, many spirits and minor gods that are considered like all legit. The big ones are our three: the Firebringer, the Water Drinker, and the Earth Beater.
Mm-hmm.
But there are many others, so it wouldn't be super uncommon to see like an idol to a smaller god.
Okay.
But he turns to you and he says, "Why, it was Stella's Slingstrider."
No.
Yes.
Did she do anything else?
Not that I saw. She spit on it and walked away.
Is she related to David Slingstrider?
Why, yes, she's his daughter, and the next priest will have.
Turn to Gillin and I say, you take the best notes. So, and I like lock on this guy. Bought you breakfast. You're welcome. I'm really curious to know what you think. Like, what do you think's going on with do you think that Stella's the witch?
I don't know if I know a witch. But I saw her spit on the idol of love, and she's a future priest.
I see.
I'm gonna walk over. I've just been kind of listening from the corner. And I'm just gonna kind of like tug on Rennie's sleeve, like nod my head towards the door. Like bye.
Instantly get up and follow Robin. What do you need, bro?
And I look at the other two.
Oh, you want them to come too? Do we need to leave my friend? Okay, fine. Let's blow. Let's go. And I point at Mateo and Gillin. I'm like, come on.
And what are y'all's reactions to Renny doing that? Blaze is still like shoving food in his mouth. He's like reaching over and he sees that Renny's leaving. He says, "Are you?" And just like picks up the plate and starts eating your eggs.
It's cool. I'm not gonna eat that. Come on.
Has David Slingstrider said anything untoward, perhaps related to the smaller gods? As you said, the idol of love is apparently unfavored by his daughter.
Well, no, but I can tell you something very strange.
I'm interested in strange things. Please continue,
good.
Blaze.
Oh, good. I found cloven hoofprints on their doormat once when I was at their home. And I came over again in the afternoon, and the hoofprints were gone.
Do they have a goat?
I don't know.
It's worth asking.
I suppose so. And just, like,
Robin and I are standing in the doorway. I'm just like looking at them.
We must be
Mr.
off.
Lockwood. Good day to you.
And to you, Witchburner. All right. So you guys head over towards where Robin and Renny are trying to usher people out the door.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right. Do you join? Are you leading anyone anywhere, Robin, or are you just trying to get people to get out the door?
I just start shaking my head sadly as I walk out the door. And I start walking towards the river.
I say to the other two, I'm like, he does this. It's best to just follow him.
Oh, and then I just like
Good to
stop
go.
and I turn around and I hand Renny the burlap sack. And I turn around and keep walking.
And I take it. I open it. I see shoes. I wonder if they're my size, and I try them on my feet.
All right. Evens or odds?
Odds.
They do not fit. They are much too short, much too small.
I hand them to Mateo. Maybe these will fit you.
Perhaps. Put my foot up. Does it fit?
Evens or odds?
Evens.
They do fit. Mateo has tiny feet. And Renny has big old feet.
Big man, tiny feet.
Checks
I love
out.
it. Well, are they my color? No, then. All right. Good to know.
Who are you
I'll put
asking?
them-
I think they would look fabulous on you.
Maybe later. I'll just put them back in the bag. I think
They
we're
are
going to the
very nice
river.
shoes.
All right, I take the bag back. I stick it in my pack.
All right.
It's cool. Maybe later.
All right. So you guys make your way towards the river. Is there a particular place in the river you're going to? Just wherever it's nearest to the town, somewhere else?
You mentioned that there was a place that people were performing sacrifices.
There are some like sacred caves, like a system of caves that are sacred to the main trio of gods. Like each god has its own cave.
Yep.
And-
Robin, did you want to go find the place where the fish came up as well? Okay.
I just nod. Keep walking towards the river.
All right.
I follow Robin.
So which would you like to go to first? I'll say that they're in two different parts of the river. We'll say that the fish are like further up where the river, further north, so further upstream, and the caves are actually a little bit south of the town, a little more downstream.
Upstream first.
All right, so you head up to where the fish are, and it's a place where the river is a little wider. And there's like a, I don't know what you call it, when the river isn't straight, it's got like a little bend, and there's like a tiny, like not quite a beach, but close to it. It's a good fishing spot, basically. When with a bigger river, it's a place where it's easier to fish.
I'm just gonna walk right up to kind of the edge and kneel down and look into the water, watch it for a little bit. Do I see any fish in the water?
A little further out, but yeah, you do occasionally see one of those like big old fish.
They seem fine.
They seem fine from what you can see. Do you have any particular skills in fishing or nature or anything of that sort?
I do.
Okay.
I will roll. Oh, let's see. I'll roll study using my domain of beasts.
Okay, sure. That'll apply.
And I have a 7.
Okay. So,
I need to go on record as loving this. That's literally it. I'm just loving this.
all right, I love it. I really got it. All right. So 7 is success at a cost.
Yep.
So you're going to take 1 stress to your body because I think you are paying very close and intense attention to the fish. And I think you start to like wade into the river a little bit without realizing it.
Mhm.
And I think that you're not really prepared for how slippery it is under there. And you kind of lose your footing and twist your ankle just a little bit. So you're going to take a stress to your body.
Okay.
So, and you can see the fish looks perfectly natural. It like the scales look healthy. You don't see any weird signs on it from where you are. Its behavior seems normal as it swims. It's very startled and rapidly swims away when you splash around a bit from twisting your ankle. Can't see anything weird or unusual about it. So, Gillin, Mateo, Renny, you guys have seen Robin wade out into the water a bit and stumble, twist his ankle.
If he falls, I'll jump in and try and grab him out.
Okay. I would say it's actually probably not hard. You're a big dude. Robin's not a big dude, so I think you can go in and like put your like get your arms like under his arms. You keep him from falling completely into the water.
Be careful, Robin. Do not want to get pulled downstream.
You feeling all right?
Oh, he tends to do this. It's okay. Thank you for fishing him out. He's an indoor kid. He should not be allowed in nature.
So much of this work is outside.
I know it's unfortunate, isn't it? So unfortunate.
Interesting.
The shadows are getting long. We're finding ourselves at the end of the afternoon watch. Is there anything else you guys would like to do at the river? At this part of the river?
I would like to collect some of the water, but I'm going to make Robin do it because he's the one who has the vials.
Yeah.
Robin, Renny suggests to you that perhaps you should collect some water.
I collect some water.
All right.
Seal it up. Put it with all the other vials I have of various samples, evidence.
I nod at Robin. Yes. If he need, and I offer to him, would you like me to carry some of that? Okay.
Gillin, what are you doing while this is all happening? Just observing? Okay.
Yeah, Gillin would do first aid and bandage up Robin's ankle, except Robin hasn't said anything, so they're not going to.
All right, fair enough.
They're just gonna let him limp.
I think it's not like a lasting injury. It's just like it hurts for a minute. It feels a little weird.
I'm only at
and
2
you're,
stress.
Like, uncomfortably cold, but like yeah, it's not like a full injury.
Okay. All right. I will let the rest of the Witchburners lead us to the next area.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I have body stress. Can I relieve that by floating in the river?
So you would have to take pretty much the whole evening watch to do that. Can.
So I look around to my group. I say, what are our plans for the evening?
Did you not want to see the caves?
I want to see everything. Caves? You want to go to the caves?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that.
All right. So you have to trek back through town, but there is it's pretty easy. There's a road that goes through. That's actually the quickest way is to go back through town and get down further south into the town, go downhill literally to get to the edge of the river where there are a cave system. To get into that, and I think as you're within sight of where you've been told the caves are, the sky is just getting darker and darker and darker, and the clouds are rolling kind of ominously. And it's that smell right before it rains. You can feel the barometric pressure. And then the clouds just open, and it's not rain that falls, it's hail. It's a giant hailstorm just out of the blue, and you guys are gonna have to like book it, like run to get to the cave and get cover. And you make it in, and like it's big chunks of hail, like scary big.
Is that
just leaving huge clots in the ground?
Is that like normal? Or is this
No.
very unusual weather?
It's very unusual weather. It's a sudden hailstorm with no warning, and the hail is bigger than you've ever seen before.
I would like to make magic check. I have domain and magic, but I want to see like does this seem
magical?
Like a freak weather pattern or magical in nature?
Similarly, does this seem like an omen from Lady Deadfingers?
I have a 10.
Okay. All right. So, Gillin, did you want to make a roll on that?
I probably shouldn't have. Not with that fucking roll.
No.
What'd you get? Oh, excellent. Oh, how nice. Okay. So, Robin, you rolled a 10, which is a clear success, a critical success. And you look at it, this is definitely not magical in nature. Weather spells are actually some of like the hardest spells to cast, randomly. And this was quite a spell. And they leave such a just like a distinguishable trace, and it's just not there. Like this is just a weird freak weather storm. Definitely not magical.
Okay.
Gillin, as you investigate this storm, you decide to see if this is an omen from Lady Deathfingers, and I think you get a little too close to the edge of the cave, in your quest to examine. You're trying to catch a hailstone, I think, to see, if you could get some, and you catch one, and it hurts, and you can take a stress to body. And what was your stress in body before you took this one?
1.
Okay, again, just narrowly escaping fallout.
Gillin, what are you doing?
It's Gnomon of the Winter White, Lady Deadfingers. She is the avatar of ice and death and visions, which would be very valuable for us at this point, but she's a dangerous one, and I think she's exacting some sort of punishment. Whether or not the townspeople deserve to be punished by her is not for me to say.
I turn to Robin. Tell them what you know. You know this isn't magical. I'm sorry, Gillin. It's not.
So you would know that magic and divine are not quite the same thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
I'll say.
But Renny still believes it's not.
Yeah. I'm actually going to say I'm not sure many of the things happening here. We're alone, right?
Yeah, it's just the 4 of you.
Okay.
As far as you can tell, there's only the 4 of you in the cave, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure many of the things here are magical in nature. These feel more like omens.
You said Lady Deathfingers was someone who brought visions. Yes?
It is part of her domain. Or rather, one of her domains. Also, ice and death. She is also the Hunger Bringer, which I don't know that fits here.
I'm not sure.
Unless
their crops
unless the
have been
crops
destroyed.
ruined are entirely her work, which you can't burn a god. I know that many would like to, but...
So what if it is her?
If it's her, then we have to figure out why she's angry, and that will require much more information than we have now.
Or we find someone to blame it on.
I believe that she would accept a sacrifice, so that's terrible, but also valid.
What if we found a terrible person to blame it on?
It would be for the greater good.
Okay.
Robin opens his mouth, obviously about to say something, and then just kind of closes it. Just looks down at his lap again, so he's sitting on the ground.
Go ahead, Robin.
Who?
Ideally, it would be someone who deserves to be punished by the divine. I don't know that we've actually seen anyone who's... At least not that we know of.
Maybe that's what we look for.
I wanted to be an executioner. I would have been an executioner. It would be much
Great.
easier. We should do our best to actually find the cause of what is happening to these poor people.
Do you think
That is true.
I look at do you think someone here may have angered the gods?
Well, if there's any sort of direct affront to them, we're in the right place to look.
Robin, you have to get over your guilt. It's not you. It's not you. I would like to investigate these caves. I want to see where we are.
Yeah. Right. So, whoever would like to, you can each make independent rolls if you have other like skills or domains that you think are relevant, or you can work together. And that if you have any relevant skill or domain, it gives the person making the roll another die. But you put yourself at risk of taking stress there as well.
Well, I already rolled solo and I got a 9. So
right.
I'll just let everyone else make a decision based on that.
I rolled a 2.
I'd be up to help people by maybe I have the skill of prowess, so maybe I can lift people, places, or move large stones, things like that.
Okay, I'll allow it. It is a cave system. You know, it's naturally occurring caves. It's not super easy to get through.
I don't got much.
And Gillin, you're muted, so I can't. Yeah.
I had also already rolled and gotten a 9, so.
Okay, excellent. So if Mateo is helping Renny, then Miellyn, you can roll one more die and see if it's better than the one you got.
Okay. It was a 1.
Okay, so we'll go with the 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not that it makes a
I'm the
huge difference.
best. Yeah.
Okay.
Dropping Renny.
Yeah, I know. Just drop me down a hole. It's fine.
All right. So you all escape fallout because I rolled really high on all 3 of those rolls.
So Renny and I don't take stress?
Oh no, I didn't say that. I said you escape fallout.
Oh, okay.
Bad things still happen.
Yes. So we'll deal with you guys first. And so the 2 is his failure, and you do take stress. And I think that is what happens. I think Mateo does kind of like stumble trying to lift Renny, and like she's not used to this. Like normally she lifts Robin, I think, actually when they do this heist. And she just doesn't really know how to like hold her like balance properly when being lifted up. And I think like Mateo just like, be still, come on, like get it together. And I think you both just like tumble down and hit the ground pretty hard. And you're each gonna take 1 stress to your body.
Yeah, Rennie's very, very ticklish.
I wasn't tickling you, Renny.
It doesn't matter. I can't help it.
Okay.
So you guys don't even make it very far down the passageway, I think, before you have to give up and just like go separately. But Robin and Gillin are both like pretty good at this. And you go further down. It's not like an easy cave system in the sense that like, oh, here at a central cave and then here's 3 caves. Like it's narrow. It gets very tall at one point and then like very suddenly comes like flooding back down, it feels like, the ceiling, and where it's like just a little bit above your head. You know, a very tall person would have to, you know, stump a little bit to get in, stoop a bit to get in. And you do find 3 caves past that main entry cave, and they are pretty clear as to which god each of these. So the first one is the Firebringer, and there's like been like sconces drilled into the side of the cave. There's like remains of a big fire in the middle. There's like soot and ash and like burnt wood around. Pretty obvious. The second one that you go to actually kind of intersects with an underground river. It's just water that comes through. There's like some standing pools. It's very cold in this one. Very cold. That water just seems to be leaching the heat right out of the air. And the final one that you come to must be for the Earth Beater. There's these beautiful natural stripes and striations in the cave walls of the different types of stone and sediment in there. It's largely very rich browns, oranges, reds, and there are just beautiful, vibrant paintings all around the walls of the cave. And they have been done with a lot of care and a lot of skill and with a lot of devotion. You can feel it. These just like the symbols of the earth beater and natural symbols just painted. Some of them as small as like your hand, and some of them like bigger than a person, painted all around
Mm.
the walls. It would take days to do this.
So I don't have strong knowledge of religion or the gods, but I can see if something seems out of place or out of the ordinary.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm going to look for, just across all three. Maybe I'm going to focus on the water one too.
Okay. And Gillin, is there anything in particular that you would want to focus on with your 9?
I want to make sure that each of the caves has not necessarily orthodox sacrifices and rites performed in them, but that things look like they have the appropriate amount of reverence and care, and anything that seems out of the norm for that, I'll take note of and probably correct.
All right. So as you guys go through the cave system, everything does seem to be pretty properly in order here. You can dig a bit in the ashes of the large fire and find appropriate sacrifices. There's the right type of bones that you find that have like cracked and broken from the intense heat, from the right types of sacrifices that have been made here. Mostly small animals, but then there's also some larger bones that would suggest like larger game.
Mhm.
Um, but also like very like intense and sweet smelling herbs in there too. So like there's like been cinnamon burned in here. There's been various types of peppers, some very fragrant seeds and stuff, and you're very familiar for you. When you go into the water cave, the water is very dark. It's very dark water. If you cup it and pull it up, it looks like normal water, mostly transparent kind of thing.
Mhm.
But in the river, in the standing pools, it looks almost black because the stone is so very dark in here, and it like numbs your fingers
Yeah.
when you touch it. It's very cold. But there's nothing in the water that you can tell. Nothing. Just rock. When you make you go ahead.
I'm gonna turn to Gillin and just say, could there be something more here?
I would say, Gillian, you would know that not necessarily. A lot of types of offerings and sacrifices made to the water drinker involve the water taking and taking away. So if they've made the proper sacrifices and offerings here, the water, the river that comes through here would just clear it away and take it.
I'll relay that.
Okay. I'll shrug.
And the paintings in the Earth Beater room are kind of an offering itself. It's kind of like a pact to the earth. Um, the you can investigating the actual paint. It's not strictly ink. Some of it might be, but mostly it's things like, oh, this is mixed with certain types of mud, and this one definitely involves blood. Usually the blood of the person doing the painting. That's one of the reasons why it's real small. It's one of the smallest ones in the whole cave. Um, and a lot of other things, and they are meant to appease the earth, to keep things like earthquakes away, that kind of thing. And they are very well done.
Hmm.
everything seems to be quite in order.
Are we up or downstream of where the fish were found?
Down.
Downstream.
I'll ask Gillin, since we're here, do we need to make an offering? Is that appropriate?
It is. I can, of course, perform the rites for all of us, but if you would like to participate, that is most welcome.
Whatever you say.
So, which god would you like to make an offering or sacrifice to? All of them? Just one?
All of them.
Okay. Uh, so you are currently in the Earthbeater cave. Should we start there?
Yes.
So, the Earthbeater is avatar of the crops and the earth. It's a nurturing but also destroying deity. Typically, you offer food. You offer a portion of the harvest you just took. You sometimes there are rites about fasting, those kinds of things, but the most common offering is some kind of food.
Yeah. Gillin offers food mixed with the sweat of her brow. Focusing on the efforts required to coax crops from the earth, with the sweat being representative of that.
Excellent. A good offering. There is, I think, a kind of cauldron shape, almost like it's risen out of the earth, like maybe it was carved here towards the middle back of the room, and it feels like the right and logical place to leave an offering.
Mhm.
I think I'll just kind of follow them and just watch, offer any rations I have so they don't have to give anything up.
Excellent. Does anyone else leave anything, or do you simply watch?
I'm actually going to leave. I'm going to go back to the cave entrance.
Okay. When you get here, you notice the hailstorm has stopped, and it's getting very nearly full dark. So when you head back through to the Water Drinker, Water Drinker is a loving and deadly, fertile god. So the Water Drinker is who you give thanks to for having children, for your animals having children. It's who you go to when you ask for help with the emotional side of relationships, of all kinds of relationships. When you are looking for love to come into your life, you talk to the Water Drinker. If you want love to leave your life, you talk to the Water Drinker. And liquids of all kind are often offered, especially directly into the water itself, because they're dissipated and taken away pretty quickly. But you could also, it's traditional, I think, after childbirth for blood from that process to be left, things like that.
Gillin thinks deeply about her dead spouse and focuses on it enough that tears well up. And then she wipes them and then puts them into the river.
A very good offering.
Mateo will draw his ceremonial sword and cut his hand.
Allow the blood to drop into the
Mhm.
river.
Yeah.
A very common offering from soldiers to the water drinker.
I go to the mouth of the cave with Robin.
And lastly, you go back to the Firebringer's cave. And the Firebringer is a dangerous and loving, virile god. So when you want help with the physical aspects of a relationship, you go to the Firebringer and not the Water Drinker. If you want to bring that into your life, if you want that to leave your life, you come to the Firebringer. Also more about thrill seeking, but also protecting from danger, warding, that kind of thing, and offerings are pretty much universally burnt. If it doesn't burn, it's probably not something you should be offering to the Firebringer.
Taking a small bit, or carving off a small bit of my spouse's empty scabbard. The blade is with Mateo, but Gillin keeps the scabbard, and they'll slice a piece off and then burn it.
Mateo flinches at that. Why would you? Fine. I'll chuck a piece of maybe like rip some cloth off his shirt and throw it into the fire.
It's not a sacrifice if it doesn't hurt.
They're pretty easy to light. There's kindling, and I would say there's probably matches actually, kept in a stone box. They're easy to light.
I don't think Mateo stays to watch it burn. I think he just leaves.
Does Gillin stay?
Gillin stays. She's not happy about it, but she's going to.
So, Robin, you make your way to the front of the cave first. Renny joins you not long after.
Mhm.
After a few moments, Mateo comes, and I think the three of you wait for several moments before Gillin comes up.
Still hailing.
Nope, but by the time you get there, Robin, you can tell that the hailstorm has passed.
Okay.
And there was only offerings and place set aside for the trio, yes?
Correct. Yeah. There aren't any caves that you saw for any other spirits or deities.
Mhm.
You join the party at the front of the cave. Gillin, it is full dark. So
I think it's time to sleep or not.
evening watch is over. We are now at night watch.
Yeah.
Yes. So do you choose to sleep? Do you choose to do something else?
Now it's time for Gillin to silently walk off.
All right.
Because they are.
Unless somebody has something else they want to do, I think you all make your way back.
I think
straight
we
to the
should
inn.
sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Make our way back and go to sleep.
All right. Excellent. Let's make your way back to the inn. And that ends the fourth day. The fifth day dawns. It is clear and cold.
I'm going to spend the morning watch in my room, the room I share with Renny, meditating to hopefully clear my mental stress.
Okay, sure. You can do that. How much mental stress do you have?
2.
2. Yeah, you can clear all of it. So, Robin, you've seen that before. You can't, or excuse me, Renny, you've seen that before. You can't move him. He's done.
I'm just like sitting,
No.
staring out a window with a blank face.
And as boring as I think it is, I think that I should probably try to clear my body stress. So I just lie down in the bed for the morning.
I don't think that lying in the bed is enough on its own to clear like bodily stress. If you maybe had some like stretching routines you want to do, we could clear some for that.
Watching soap operas? No. Yeah, she could certainly do some stretching exercises.
Okay. And how much body stress do you have?
4.
4. Okay. I'll say that you are able to take away 3.
Great.
So, Gillin and Mateo, and you make your way back down to the common room of the inn, and it becomes pretty clear that Robin and Renny are just not going to join you.
I'm going for a run. I'll be back later. Just kind of be very kind of cold and head out the door before I leave. Is that okay?
Of course.
Okay.
Be well, my friend.
I'll just take off. Is that a way that I could refresh a little of one of my resistance's body, maybe?
Sure, we'll call that. If you want to tell the
Okay.
people what your refresh condition is.
Yeah, it is reveal the depths of my strength to others.
So you're gonna push yourself on this run, I think, a bit. And all right, excellent. So roll a d10.
Oh gosh. 10.
10. You can remove up to 10 stress.
Like totally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
That's the kind. That's why a refresh action is better than just about anything else.
Cool. Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right, and Gillin, how are you passing the morning watch?
Hmm. I'm gonna preach to Jeremiah.
Okay. Roll for that and see how receptive
Poor
Jeremiah is.
Poor Jeremiah.
Jeremiah.
10.
Okay. All right. Okay, so 10 is a full success. And I think you can even cause stress to others when you roll a 10. So I think you do a little stress to Jeremiah, but in like a good way, I think. I think he actually kind of like, you're one of the few people in many years to get through to him to kind of like reflect a bit on his life decisions. He tells you, you know, I used to be a good carpenter. I was gonna be a real good carpenter. And then
You're
found...
still a good carpenter inside. Your hands may have let you down. Your spirit might have let you down. Your focus may have wavered. But inside and above, below, things are not that different now. You drink the water. You let the earth carry you. Let the fire fuel you. The carpentry will still be done.
I could go and talk to Jesus and Anna, and he might let me come back, and maybe I could drink less. I don't have to stop drinking altogether. Lots of people drink. But yeah, and he totally is just like into it. So I think that is going to qualify as your refresh action. If you would like to tell the people what your refresh action is.
As the zealots, Gillen's refresh action is to inspire righteous conviction in others.
All right, so roll a d10.
6.
All right, you can move up to 6 stress.
And
All
I have
right.
5, so that's pretty good for me.
Yeah, you guys are doing a surprisingly good job of managing this fallout. All right, so that's the morning watch. Now the afternoon watch.
So Ian and I are in our room.
I'm gonna finish.
Well, Robin and you are probably in your room.
Yes.
That's what I said, obviously. I'm hungry.
I'll just get up and start walking towards the door. Downstairs. Look for Anya.
It's not hard to find her. You know, she's, scuttling back and forth.
I kind of look at Renny again, and then look at Anya. Renny again, and look at Anya, and then look at Renny again. And I'm like, it's obvious I'm like trying to remember something.
I turned to Anya. Have you heard from Ursula?
No, she's still missing. I don't know.
I have an important thing to ask. Do you have any? Can we have anything of hers?
What do you mean?
Give me
Have
something. Can you give me something of hers? It might help us find her.
Like what?
A bracelet?
I mean, Ursula's not much for jewelry. She like looks down at her hands. We have wedding rings. I guess she has the ring from her husband. Could give you that, I guess. It's the only piece of jewelry she's really got she doesn't wear.
Sure. Yes. Yes, we'll take that.
All right. She looks very nervous, but she goes and fetches the wedding ring and brings it back to you. It's a simple gold band.
We'll try to find her for you. I take it. I hand it to
Yeah.
Robin.
As you take it, I'm just holding out my hand, waiting for it. And as soon as I have it in my hand, I am going to use one of my abilities.
Okay.
Well, no, that's not no. Yes.
Not here. Not here.
Yeah, I am. No, I am. And I'm going to speak, which probably might be the first time Anya's heard me because I've only talked to like 2 people in this town. And I'm just going to say, we will find her. And I'm going to use manifest and lace my words with the power to declare a truth.
All right. You speak it. You make it real. You make it true.
And then, subject to your discretion, I also take 2 stress to either my mind and or body.
I think this is more of a mind.
Yeah.
So I think you're gonna take them both to your body, your mind, to me.
I'll pop that right back up to 2.
Yeah, all right.
One of the reasons
Excellent.
I meditated.
So I'd say, Mateo, at this point you probably come back from your run, unless you wanted to keep going longer.
No, I'll come back and I'll come in through the back door. And I'm gonna actually go straight to the kitchen.
Okay. So you see Robin in there holding and staring at his hand. You hear him say, "We will find her." And it's a little weird. Kid doesn't talk much. But all right. Head back to the kitchen. Gillin, I think you are wrapping up your sermon, and Jeremiah feels, I'm a changed man. I'm a changed man. And it just like walks out the door. And you hear Robin. We will find her. You kind of catch a glimpse of Mateo heading back straight to the kitchen as he comes in.
Then after I say that, I put the wedding ring in my pocket.
I think Anya looks a little perturbed, but has decided to trust you. Gillin, what are you doing seeing this happen?
coming over and being supportive. Like,
To
um, basically backing up Robin, even though it doesn't really seem like he needs it.
just
But
yeah.
when
right.
has someone else's needs stopped a zealot?
Fair. All right. So Mateo, you head into the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm looking for Peppy.
He's not hard to find. He's standing there at the at a stove. He's like, stirring a giant pot. Smells really good. You can smell some, chicken bones in there. Chicken soup.
All right.
I think he's got his back to you. He doesn't see you enter.
I want to kind of like look around. Does anything look off here?
Just odd things.
Personal effects that he might have. Anything he's wearing.
All right. I think you don't see too much of him that you think is like personal effects. It's a kitchen. This is his workplace. There's a cutting board with chopped vegetables on it. There's some carrots, potato. I think you see a couple of extra aprons tied up. A couple of them are too small to be his and don't look like they're used a whole lot. There's an empty hook for the one that he's wearing. There's just like normal pots and pans and like barrels with extra vegetables and grains. There's some like bulbs of garlic hanging. There's a giant like fire pit in the middle. There's a like kind of stove top. It's got like a fire in it, and then it's like a lid basically almost, and then like you can cook on top of that, like a very 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 primitive kind of fire stove. And I think as you're poking around, you do find something a little odd in one of the barrels full of root vegetables. You find a preserved mandrake that has extraordinary anatomic precision.
I'm gonna take it.
Okay.
And leave.
Do you try to not let Peppy see you?
No.
Okay. I think he notices you digging around in the barrels. And he says, can I help you, Witchburner?
I'll just hold it up. Explain.
Explain what? A root vegetable? It's a kitchen?
Look at it.
Oh, okay. And he like very clearly does not want to walk closer to you. But he takes a reluctant step. And then one more and he kind of like leans forward, peers and says, "Oh, well, that's a bit dirty. It's kind of dirty. Yeah, I see.
Dirty.
It looks very much like a man."
Oh. Oh, well. Indeed.
He starts like rustling. Says, I can take care of that. And he's like looking for like the cutting board with a knife.
That's a little.
Uh, if it makes you uneasy, I can take care of it. It's
Fine. What potion are you brewing up?
potion.
The soup.
It's just ordinary chicken soup for dinner tonight.
That sounds nice.
Good.
All right. Farewell. I'll leave.
Farewell. He looks so nervous.
I thought it looked like a person.
It does. It looks like a little man. Very anatomically correct little man.
Okay.
Not like literally like a doll, just like
Sure.
you've seen those pictures of carrots on the internet.
Right. Okay. So good at this, y'all.
Quote of the night. You've seen those pictures of carrots on the internet. I'm sorry.
I
So
mean,
good.
I think my mind went a different place when he said it was dirty. Like me, I
Me
thought
too.
maybe it looked like not a person. Maybe it looked like something else.
Oh man. Yes. That's where
I'll
my
find
head was
some
at.
carrot pictures on the internet and post them in the Discord for you. Join us on the Discord for carrot pictures.
Yeah. Ooh.
Anatomically correct carrots.
Yeah, we have a good time in the Discord.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Promise.
So,
All right, what's everyone else
We're
doing?
gonna end up subscribed to an OnlyFans about carrots.
Could be worse. Could be worse.
All right, what are Robin and Gillin and Renny doing?
well, now I want to go look for Ursula.
All right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
how are you gonna do that? What's your plan to look for her?
We're gonna need to find out what other people in the town have seen, who was the last to see her, which probably means splitting up and canvassing the area.
So
So-
it does seem like Anya was probably the last to see her because they went to bed together, and when Anya woke up, she wasn't there.
So Renny says, Gillin,
Yes, Renny?
go talk to the churches. Robin and I will go to the fields.
Seems like a good plan to me.
Take Mateo with you. And I grab Robin and we leave and go talk.
Okay.
All right, so let's take a little break here. Seems like a good stopping point. So everybody use the bathroom, get a drink, stretch your legs. We'll be back in about 10-ish minutes.
And we're back.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are going to pick up with our evening watch. Mateo and Gillin are heading to canvass the town to find people who might have seen Ursula and figure out where she has gone. Rob and Renny are going to head up towards the fields to see what they can find there. So
Are
let's
we
start.
though?
Well,
we
That
look
was
like
a
we
lie.
are. We look like we
all
are.
right.
I
Well,
knew
we'll
it.
come back to that then. We'll start with Gillin and Mateo. So the two of you head out of the inn.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. So you head out. It's early evening now, so most of the light is still in the sky, although it being fall, late fall, the sun is just beginning to go down, and it's getting cold because of that. And you can hear kind of some voices, a little bit of a commotion out in the towards the town square, which is not far from where you are. I see some bodies out there.
Well, that seems like a good place to start. At least there's people around.
Might as well.
All right. As you head over there, you do see a group of about a half dozen people or so are standing around a very large bonfire that they have built up, and they're kind of like chanting and like swaying back and forth a bit.
It's another sacrifice situation.
Are you asking me or are you asking Gillin?
Gillin.
Does it look like
It certainly looks like
Uh,
something, that you might see for the Firebringer, lighting a big fire and chanting around it. Yeah, you've seen similar types of things. Do you approach or do you keep your distance?
I think I'd be interested, but
yeah, does it how deep in this does it look like they are?
They look like they're fully aware of what they're doing. They don't look like they're like under the influence of anything. Like they are probably doing this as kind of like a prayer or chant. And as you get closer, you can hear like familiar phrases, of calling upon the Firebringer to purify the town, uh, burn away, imperfections, save us, that kind of thing. Familiar prayers.
Okay.
anyone we recognize?
Yes, you see in that circle, you see Blaze, who you met yesterday.
Okay.
You see a very beautiful woman with honey hair and almond eyes, wearing a gold and silver necklace. You see a tall, thin man with long hair. His fingers are kind of like yellowed that you can see there. He's got a pipe tucked into his blazer.
Okay.
You also see a young-ish man, older teenager, somewhere in that range. Pretty hairy. He's got like longer hair that's like stringy and hanging over his face. He's got like that scraggly, like I'm 19 and trying to grow a beard kind of look. Um, and he's got like kind of like mistrustful eyes darting around, but he's also like participating. And you see another tall, thin man, who's very well dressed actually. Um, he's got like longer hair pulled back, dark hair pulled back into a low ponytail. He's wearing like an amulet around his neck there. And then lastly, you see Petra. She's standing there. She's got, still got like spots of like vet salve, the medication on her, and she looks a little thin, a little weak, a little, pale, but she's there as well.
Do I have a sense of how long they're probably going to be at it based off their chance?
Um, this is a ritual that could be a couple hours, could be a couple days. Depends on basically on how long they want to go at it.
Damn it. Gillin doesn't want to interrupt. Hiromi does. Gillin doesn't.
What's Mateo doing?
will interrupt.
Yes.
I think he doesn't notice Gillen's kind of trepidation, and will just walk over and will address Petra. You're looking better.
Oh, thank you, Witchburner. I am feeling better. Our good
Glad.
doctor worked her abilities, her skills.
So you're doing a sacrifice then?
Less of a sacrifice and more just a prayer. The Lightbringer would bring purification upon our town. It seems this witch simply will not leave us alone. The mayor woke up this morning and was missing 2 teeth.
Indeed. Have you seen Ursula today?
The innkeeper? No, I haven't. I haven't been over near the inn. This is the first time I've left my house all day, actually.
I'll kind of raise my voice. Anyone else see Ursula?
I think I saw her day before yesterday. Says, I think that I think the tall man with his hair, the dark hair and a ponytail says that. And I think Blaze says, yes, the day before yesterday.
And where was she?
At the inn.
I recall you there.
You saw me yesterday. She was there the day before yesterday.
Yes. You're correct. I apologize for the interruption. I think I'm going to look back to see Gillin. I should go. Sorry.
No, you are welcome to join us. And I think Petra turns to you again and says, especially you. We could, I'm sure the Firebringer would welcome a voice as devout as yours to join us. We plan to stay the whole night.
I would love to participate for a moment, but we have a task of some urgency, so it will
That is true.
only
We
be a
appreciate
moment.
it. Right? So how long do you join?
Like 5 minutes.
Okay. Mateo, what do you do while that happens?
I think I'll just kind of watch. I won't be like rude, but definitely not wanting to participate.
I think maybe one or two other like townspeople are kind of like also watching from the fringes, so you're not alone in that.
Okay. I'll just join them.
All right. So we will cut over to Robin and Renny. So Renny, I assume you have grabbed Robin and dragged him out of the inn.
Yes. So I say to Renny, I say to Robin, what'd you learn? But you did manifest. You said you would find her. So
Look. Be guided.
lead the way then.
I'm going to look around. We've been to a lot of places. We've been to the fields. We've been to the river. We've been over most of the town.
Mm-hmm. I think you've been through most of the town. You haven't visited all of the places
Yeah.
in the town, or certainly not all the houses, but you've been through the town.
Where in my mind would be the most dangerous place to be at night? Like, in terms of, like, accidents happening or a good ambush spot, things of that nature.
Being outside of the town, closer to the woods, might be dangerous. There are wild animals in there. There have been known to be bandits out in the hills. Obviously, being near water in the dark is always a bad idea.
Yeah.
Especially alone.
We were there yesterday.
Right.
Let's go. I start walking, and I just turn and start walking in the direction of the woods.
I just follow him.
All right.
Blindly.
It gets starting to get dark out here. And it doesn't take too long to reach them.
I'm not overly concerned about wild animals. I'm more interested in seeing if there's any sign of anyone being here or being attacked in the last few days. Do we have a lantern?
Okay. I can say you had the forethought to bring a lantern with you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
So make a roll. Let's see what you see.
I think we'll both look.
All right.
If you went to look together, then it would be one roll, and one of you would get an extra die from the other.
So I have study. I also have the domain of beasts, and I have the domain of magic. I'm looking for if anyone was attacked by a wild animal, if there's any signs of magic here, like kind of all of the above. So can I combine that, or
You only get one for domain and one for skill maximum, but you can use both.
I'm going to use study and
Magic.
Should I use magic or beasts?
Magic.
Okay. Then I'll use.
All right. And then, do you have a relevant skill and/or domain, Renny?
Oh no.
You don't have
My
anything like. What are your skills?
You can hold the lantern for me.
Charm and deception. They have nothing to do with the
Okay.
woods. I can't charm the woods into telling me their secrets as much as I
Probably
would
not.
like.
Hey, we
All
don't
right.
know yet.
All right,
Did
Robin.
roll a 7, so
I have a
do with
10.
that what you will. That he doesn't need my help.
Okay. So again, it would be if you're doing it together, then one person rolls
Yeah,
and adds
I
another
roll.
die for the other person's like skill or domain.
Oh,
So
okay, I see.
I just rolled my stuff.
All right.
And I have a 10.
Okay, you have a 10, which is an out and out success. And I'm gonna guess none of your stress is 5 or higher.
No.
Okay.
Made sure of that.
Yeah, excellent. So you look through and you do find evidence of a hunt semi recently.
Okay.
Somebody was hunting some like smaller game
Okay.
through there, and they caught it. Most of it looks like smaller animals. Something got away, but they caught most of it and brought it back maybe like yesterday-ish.
Mhm.
Looks like nothing seems very unusual there. You cannot find any trace of magic. Maybe there was something here a long time ago. There's a particular like hollow where you stop at, and you can like just like feel in the breeze. There's like an echo of something was here once, but you don't know if that means that there was something here 3 months ago or 300 years ago.
Are we super alone?
Yeah, you feel super alone out here.
I want to see if I can communicate with whatever sort of like nature spirit is here.
Okay. Sure.
I think it's just a straight magic roll.
Sure.
Okay. I just get really quiet. And if Renny talks, I'm just like, shh.
Okay.
And I just kind of open myself up and try to sense what might have been done here, or if there's any lingering magic I can tap into.
Okay.
And I have a 9 and an 8, actually. I just want to point out I rolled a 9 and an 8.
All right. So, okay. It's a clear success. No stress. I a Witchburner using magic.
I'm innocent, I swear it.
So you stop, you still yourself, and Renny really wants to talk to you, but she can recognize what you're doing and manages to restrain herself. And you just kind of, the best you could describe it is just kind of like open your spirit.
Mhm.
And there are things here in the hills. That's not surprising in and of itself.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things here, though.
Hmm.
Up in this like wild mountain, way up, not often visited. Well, you get a sense that people don't tend to linger in these woods. They come with a purpose. They fell a tree, they gather what they can find, they kill an animal, and then they go home.
Is it...
There are spirits here who are looking. And you're very fortunate, you realize, in that you're stronger than what they're willing to deal with right now. They're not that hungry.
Okay.
But
is it
not everyone's that lucky.
dark or is it wild?
A little of both.
Okay.
It's kind of straddling that line. Some of them are more dark, some of them are more just wild and feral.
Okay.
But there are some malicious intentions in some of the spirits in the hills.
Do I feel like that could be related to what's going on, or is it just normal? Is that normal for a wild area?
It's not abnormal. These kinds of spirits do exist, and they are more common out in a rural, wild area. They seem mostly hungry, like they're looking for something to consume. They don't seem quite intelligent enough to do like pointed attacks against people. Just whatever is nearby that they can ride and consume.
Okay. Kind of shake it off. And this, like, Robin seems much more comfortable, without anyone else around except for Renny, but also, like, in this environment. It's not related. It's not. This is normal. This has nothing to do with what's going on here.
So what now?
We should leave something. These spirits are neglected.
No, that's not good.
I'm gonna pull some food, like probably like maybe some leftover food from earlier today, out, and I'm just gonna place it in the tree line.
Okay.
I'm gonna look around and then just kind of shrug and start walking back towards town.
Stop him.
What?
So what are we gonna do? I think we have Gillin, maybe Mateo, but we have to figure out who. We have to figure out who we're going to blame this on, because otherwise it's us on the line.
We need to keep an eye on that farmer.
Okay.
The one with the daughter. I don't know if we need to. I don't know if it's him necessarily, but we need to keep an eye on him. I'm curious about the doctor.
I'd rather find somebody who is more zealous.
Who was the man you were talking to yesterday?
Oh, Blaze?
Yeah. I didn't like him.
Okay. That's fine. I think he's okay, but I think that's fine. Whatever you want, Robin.
We should leave.
Okay.
Do you look back at the offering you left, Robin?
Yes. That's I glance over and I look at it and then, or where it was, and then I say we should leave.
Yeah, it's gone.
Okay.
So you head back towards town. I think that's probably all you guys are going to be able to do during this evening watch, with the walk out and then the walk back. It's kind of long. All right, so Gillin, it's been your 5 minutes of chanting. Mateo, it's been an uncomfortable 5 minutes watching Gillin chant. How are you guys going to wrap up your evening watch here? I think you have just a little bit of time left.
Yeah, if there's anyone else that we can find about, then we'll ask them what they've seen recently.
There are some people standing out like on the edges, watching this happen. Let's see. Okay, sure, we'll go with her. You see one woman kind of catches your eye. She's got very golden hair and she's very pale. And she looks like she scarred from a pox. Like maybe she had chicken pox real bad as a kid. And she's standing there with her arms crossed, just watching.
Greetings.
Greetings, Witchburner.
My name is Gillin, and this is my associate Mateo.
Pleased to meet you, Bernardo Warsmaid. I think you tried to sneak into my barn the other night.
I did. With issues of crops going spoiled, it was my plan to get there ahead of whatever's spoiling things and make sure that it doesn't happen.
Right. Megan told me you were looking out for my dairy, and I appreciate that. What can I do for you?
Have you seen Ursula?
Oh, not for a couple days. She comes
Hmm.
around sometimes, buys cheese, milk, such that she needs for the inn. Haven't seen her a couple days though. I heard she's missing.
She is. Her wife is quite worried, understandably.
Right? Yes, I'd be too if I'd had a spouse.
Have you seen? Is anyone else missing, or have you seen anything unusual? I hear the mayor is missing 2 teeth.
I heard that too. Woke up, they were just clear out of her head on the floor.
Hmm.
Very strange. I mean, the hailstorm yesterday was pretty bad, and whatever crops were left are gone now. All the plums right out the trees, smashed to bits on the ground.
Hmm.
I mean, you heard the fish and the cat and that baby, but
Of course.
a lot of ill things happening.
Where might I be able to find the idol of love?
The idol of I she looks around and like points. There's like I think a series of like stone pillars that are all about maybe waist high with like small like figures and symbols like placed on top of them. The other ones, I guess. Yeah, right over there. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All
It's
right.
kind of slinks
How's
back.
how's the idol of love been regarded throughout the town?
Well enough, I suppose. You know, lots of people pray to it, make offerings, hoping for love.
Do you know of anyone who's been spurned lately?
Oh, um, hmm. Can't say that I have. Well, not spurn exactly, I guess, but I know that Stella and Zenobia are having some issues because of Ivan. But they're happy. It's just he's not happy because I mean nothing makes him happy. That's the closest thing to spurned I can think of.
I understand. Thank you for your time.
Of course. All right,
And
we'll call that.
Gillin will go over to Mateo.
I want to look at these idols. Something is amiss there. We should
Okay.
know about it. You would ask the doctor about her marriage. Was that based on anything, or were you just trying to get a rise out of her?
We were told that a shadow ran out from underneath her house. Oftentimes, shadows departing someone's house secretly are signs that someone has been unfaithful. And lack of faith is, of course, a concern to me. But if the doctor's marriage is sound, then it does not seem that it was an intruder of that nature, which is both good and more horrific. Because if it wasn't a fleeing lover, then who was it?
Sometimes folks say things fine when it's not.
It's true, although few people can resist when I try to extract a confession from them.
Fair.
But if she's lying to herself, then that's something that would be beyond me.
Maybe worth a look. Maybe on the morning.
It would.
So we're gonna say that the evening watch is coming to an end there. So you guys still have to decide if you want to go back to the end and sleep, or if you would like to forego sleep and take some penalties.
Uh, Gillin will sleep. And just to sort of confirm, you said Stellis and Zenobia? We're
Stella
having issue.
and
Stella.
Zenobia. You remember Zenobia was the youngest daughter of
Mhm.
Ivan Clockmaker, and Lana Staff's maid. No, it's not Staff's maid. It's Staff something. Staff's end, I think. Yeah, Staff's end.
And it was Stella Slingstrider?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So Robin, Renny, Mateo, you guys sleeping?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna head
Yes.
back.
I'll tuck into bed for the night. All right. So then the next morning, it is the 6th day. It's gusty outside, and again, kind of cold. What? Do you head down to the common room?
Yes. But yeah, and I'm gonna look for Anya.
She's again not hard to find. She looks a little harried, like maybe she's been sleeping well and been working a little too much. Taking coffee back and forth. Blaze is there in the corner. Jeremiah hasn't yet shown up. Actually, not there today. Um, she's going back and forth to the kitchen for a couple people there in the end.
Renny, are you with me?
Always.
I just say quietly to you. Ask her where Ursula's favorite place is.
I turn to Anya. We're looking for Ursula.
Thank
We
you.
haven't. Oh, we will find her. Can you tell us where? Can you tell us where her favorite place is to go?
Well, she pauses and thinks for a moment. We all have to drink because Mark redeemed hydrate in the chat. And she says, "Well, there's a spot we both really like. There's a hill, we call them the fairy mounds. I don't really believe in fairies, but a lot of people do. Ursula believes in them. But uh, there's one mound like in the middle. It's a lot bigger than the others, and we have picnics up there. I don't. She asked me to marry her there. It's a really nice place.
I go, oh, okay. That sounds good. Can you draw us a map?
Oh, I can give you directions. Yeah, we don't
Perfect.
keep. Yeah, we don't. Ursula doesn't keep paper in the house. It's a little weird, but whatever. I know
Okay.
she burns all the mail. She reads it. She's got a memory like perfect. She reads it once. She's memorized it forever.
What else can you tell us about her?
Oh well, she was married before. Alan King's name. He was the cousin to the mayor, but he died and the plague came through a few years ago. I don't think you've met her son yet. He mostly stays out, plays, goes to school and stuff. But yeah, we got her son, my stepson Victor, around. I don't know. I know she inherited the inn from her father. She's been running it pretty well. She's not ticklish at all. I've tried many times.
Okay.
What else?
I'm very ticklish. It's hard for me to relate to people like that. Good to know.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, very I get it. I get it. It's not. I'm not frustrating to anyone. She's frustrating everyone. I get it. Okay, so I think that let's go to the fairy mounds. Thank you for the information. Can we get our coffee to go this morning?
I mean, I guess. And she like fills up some canteens for you.
Thank you.
Gillin, Mateo, what are you doing with this exchange? Are you there listening? Anything to add?
Just listening to the exchange and sort of soaking it in. When you said that she burns letters, is that something that she just does immediately out of habit?
I think so. Yeah, she like I said, she remembers everything, and just her mind is like a book. Like our record, like the record keeping we keep, it's real lean. I learned how to read it from her, but yeah, she just remembers all the details. Send her a letter, she can recite it back to you just as if she was reading it right off a paper. So she just burns the paper for practicality, I guess.
Interesting. So she never has correspondence that someone else might read.
Guess not. We don't get a lot of letters and stuff. She's never like I've never wanted to read something that she told me I couldn't. I don't know. Like I don't much ask, but if I've ever wanted to see something, she just gives it to me.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I think so.
It shows trust, which is foundational to the relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I trust her. She trusts me. Known each other a long time. We hadn't been married too terribly long, but we've known each other a long time.
I turned to Gillin and Mateo. We should go to the fairy mounds.
Yes.
Lead on. Renny, do you believe in fairies?
Of course, don't you?
Perhaps.
I think if you believe in witches, you have to believe in fairies. And I lead us to the fairy mounds.
They are to the west of the city. You just take the western road out. You have to finish like fully cross the bridge to get to them. They're on the other side of the river from where all the buildings are, and it's a kind of like a dip in some like it's not quite hills, but you're getting there, and so there's like a not quite valley between them, and there's several maybe 13 or so irregular like oval kind of mounds that are different sizes and shapes. They're not quite a circle, but they look pretty close. And then there is one in the center that's a little bigger than the rest of them.
I nudge Robin.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I nudge
I
Robin.
have been nudged.
Robin has been nudged.
What? I say it very quietly.
You go. You know, the big one. Go. Come on. Go stand on it.
I am going to go investigate.
We're now in the afternoon watch, as you guys are aware.
Okay. All right, so I'm using. Ow. I am going to use study and magic.
Okay.
And I have a 10 and a 9 and an 8.
Okay. All right. Well, we only care about the 10.
I know, but seriously.
You rolled well for all of them, yes.
Yeah.
All right. What's your highest stress right now?
2.
Okay. Disappointing.
No. I live to disappoint.
All right. So you got a 10, and you focus and feel the energy. There's more spirits here. You can feel it almost immediately. They're like drawn here. There's been weird things that have happened here, and the mounds are old. Like as old as the town, maybe older. And can't quite tell what made them. Might have been people, and that's why you can't quite feel anything. Could have been spirits. Maybe people were trying to attract spirits here. It's hard to tell, but spirits like this place and they are drawn here for one reason or another. But you don't feel any like fresh magic or spells or anything like that.
Okay. And like no signs of a dead body.
No. No signs of dead body. You don't even really see a lot of evidence of people here. You think that even people who aren't inclined to magical knowledge, most people either think this is a cute, quaint thing, or they're kind of freaked out by the spiritual energy and stay away.
With a 10, you can inflict stress on the fairies.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do it.
Yeah,
No.
definitely attack the fairies unprovoked.
Nope.
See what the fae
Nope.
do.
Nope. Nope. I'm good. No. No.
So I ask him, I go, what? So what? Ah, come on. I
Nothing.
say that like legitimately that big and they're like, come on.
So Gillin and Mateo, you've seen this. You've seen Renny nudge Robin, who climbs up on the big hill, focused, and then she's like, nothing. What are you guys making of that?
I don't sense anything
I turn to them.
wrong here.
There's no magic in this town. None. Zip, zero, none. Somebody is completely
I actually
making a hoax.
I'm kind of like, well, a little bit.
Yeah, you. There's no magic in this town. It's a hoax. What are they trying to do? I don't know, but it's not magic. There's no witch here.
I look at Gillin. This feels more like someone angered the gods to me. Maybe all of them.
That would cause a number of issues.
Yes.
This is famine. This is taking out their crop, their fishing. This is some of it's just innocuous. It's illness, but this doesn't feel like witchcraft to me.
And what does witchcraft feel like, Robin?
Wrong. This doesn't feel wrong. This feels normal. Or divine wrath.
Normal, but decidedly unfavorable.
Yes.
Hmm.
It doesn't feel unnatural.
There's clouds gathering, and it feels very humid. You feel the pressure. It feels like rain again.
I turn to Robin. We should leave. Let's just cut bait. Let's go. Let's just leave. Okay, I don't like this. I don't want to get involved with the gods. I was just here to hunt some witches, make some money, have a few laughs. I don't like this. This is getting big and scary, and it's about to hail on us. And this hail is going to kill us.
We can't just leave.
You always say no when I ask things. I don't like it.
What did we should head back, but what did you two learn last night?
The mayor's had some dental trouble. Woke up missing 2 teeth. People are afraid. They're making wanton offerings in the streets, burning pyres to their gods. Petra is
Mm.
back.
Seemingly in good spirits.
That doesn't
Plenty
surprise
of people have seen Ursula, but not before she went but not after she went missing.
I think she's dead, but I don't know how.
I think
It's
she
a
might have
giant
ascended.
crack of thunder. Oh, it starts to rain.
Maybe she became a god. We don't know.
I don't think it's that easy.
You don't think anything's easy, Robin.
The rain gets very heavy. It's quite hard. It's like pelting you. And it
There-
starts to feel weird. And it's getting quite dark, even for a thunderstorm in the afternoon and fall. And I think that it hits you, Mateo, first. I think one smacks you right in the face. It's a lizard falling from the sky with the rain.
The
There's a
hell?
lot of lizards. They are, well, if you look at it closer, it's a salamander, and it is blotchy red and yellow. And there are salamanders mixed in with the rain.
Oh my gosh. I will look for shelter immediately.
There is none to be had out here, not near the fairy mounds.
I'll
It's occasional tree, but that's about it.
kind of pull my coat up over the closest people to me and try and rush people to the tree.
I get up right next to Mateo.
I linger a little bit. Not enough where like I'm away from the group, but I'm not concerned about getting wet. The lizards concern me more.
Pick one up and put it in a specimen jar.
Yeah. I'm assuming they're like dying when they hit the ground.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them are still very much alive and struggling.
I'll
They are alive in the air.
I'll collect one. And is this localized or is it over the town as well?
You don't see any clear space around you. It seems like it's in the whole area. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just like a normal thunderstorm.
Okay. Wait it out under a tree.
It's gonna last for the rest of the watch, I think. So, if you wait it out under the tree.
I think I want to talk to our group while we wait it out, if you don't mind.
Okay. There is only time for something real short because we have had a lot of conversation already in the afternoon watch. So.
Stay dry. Done.
All right. So it does eventually begin to abate, and it's now starting to get dark, and we are in the evening watch.
Should we head back?
Yeah.
Dry off. See the damage.
The townsfolk will certainly have something to say about this. We head back.
All right.
Might also encourage the town folk to save the lizards, or at least gather them up. If only because they're a new and rapidly perishing source of food.
Ugh.
Okay.
It's not ideal, but with all other crops being ruined,
All right. Is there anyone in particular you're going to try and convince of this plan when you head back to the town, the bridge?
probably the mayor. The mayor
Okay,
seems like the
sure.
right person to disseminate that to.
I think the mayor is standing on the porch of her home, just dumbfounded, staring, and there's a gardener picking up them occasionally, looking at them. So make a roll. Let's see if you can convince the mayor that this is a potential source of food to save the town.
Nine.
All right. Okay. Excellent. So the mayor is very taken aback. She's been through a lot. She lost a couple teeth yesterday. Now there are lizards falling from the sky in weird colors. But it doesn't take a whole lot of convincing for her to see the wisdom of your words that, basically all the agriculture has been ruined. And you're going to need more. And, it's not super appetizing, but maybe you could figure something out. Lean times call for creativity and flexibility. And she, sends out some commands. It says, spread the word. Let's gather them up. We'll do some tests, make sure they're safe to eat, and then we'll pickle them or make a stew or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Can't starve.
It seems like there's plenty of them. And if the gods sent them for a particular reason, even if that reason was a trick, a prank from Miss Netmaker, it's still something that the gods have presented.
Yes, not all gifts from the gods feel as good, I suppose. But you make a good point, Witchburner. Thank you. All right. Do you guys do anything else particular, or head back to the inn?
Gillin would have stopped by the bridge to make a quick prayer to Bridge Spirit, because if Bridge Spirit's a good god to ask for blessings, oh boy, could this town use some.
Yeah. So you pray not for yourself, but for the town.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And Renny follows Gillin and does the same thing, even though she doesn't believe in any of this stuff.
All right.
But, there are lizards coming from the sky, so might as well hedge our bets at this point.
Can't hurt, right?
Perfectly natural phenomenon.
Mateo, Robin?
I'm going to go back to the inn.
Okay. When you get there, Ursula's there. With Anya. I think that you I think you happen upon her as you're getting there. You see a horse and cart coming up the road. As you get closer, you can see that Ursula's there. And she raises her hands. Witchburner.
I hide my surprise.
Roll fit. See how well you hide it. I'm gonna make
Terribly.
It fault. Yeah, what'd you roll?
A 2.
A 2. Okay. Excellent. So you do take stress for that, and you fail.
Yeah.
I think she sees the look on your face and is like, "Are you all right? You seem very surprised to see me." I mean, I know it's late and there are lizards, salamanders raining down. That's very strange. Are you not okay? And then we take 1 stress to your goodwill.
Okay. People thought you vanished.
I just went to make a supply run.
You didn't tell anyone.
I told Anya before we went to bed.
He must have forgotten. We were looking for you.
Oh, I am going to be in so much trouble.
And that I could just kind of smile at, and then I walk inside the inn.
She
ahead
comes,
of her.
Yeah. I think she just does this look on her face of, oh shit. And she comes after you a moment later. Says, I'm home. And that goes about as well as you'd expect.
When
There's a
Anya
lot of like
looks up,
yeah.
I just smile, and then I head right upstairs. I'm just like, I just smile like, found her, and then boom, gone.
Alright, so Renny, Gillin, Mateo, is it fair to say you guys do head back to the inn? Is there anything you wanted to do before we
I
hit
walk
nighttime?
in. I walk in, and I think Robin's gone at this point. Go, Ursula! Where you been?
Supply run! Out to town! Told my wife. She forgot. And Auditor just yells, "You did not tell me you were going. You told me you weren't thinking there was something we should do."
Not interested. Glad you're safe. Where did my brother go?
It's just like Auditor just gestures to the stairs, doesn't even look at you.
And I go straight up the stairs.
Hey, Gillin, Mateo.
I'll just kind of look in the kitchen. Is Peppy there?
Peppy is there, like he's holding like a hat and he's like twisting it around and he sees you when he says, "Witchburner, I wanted to speak to you if you have a moment."
Of course.
Okay. Do you have any of your companions here with you?
Would you like me to fetch Gillin?
If you think it best, yes.
All right, I'll go and get them and just say, the cook. I should have mentioned it. I found a strange shaped carrot in his possession, like a little person. I tried to ask him about it, but you know I'm no good at that kind of thing. I need your help.
A mandrake root?
Yes.
Interesting.
He was accused of witchcraft by I believe it was Ivan.
Yes.
I just figured I should follow up. So
Good work.
anyway, he wants to speak with us. I think he has some sort of explanation, perhaps.
Lead on. Thank you.
All right. And I'll just lead them to the kitchen.
Thank you for taking the time. I know you're busy looking for the witches, but I wanted to show you my devotion to the three avatars. And then I am a religious man. I am not a witch. And he like opens his mouth very wide and points to where he's missing a tooth. Like probably like one of these ones right here, like in the middle of the jaw. Just I offered a tooth. And then he reaches down and he takes off his shoe and then he takes off his sock and he is missing the second toe of his left foot. He says, "And I offered a toe. I also, I mean, I can show you if you really want to see, but you could, I offered a testicle too to the avatars."
Do not want to see.
Okay, good. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm willing to prove my name, but I gave a tooth, a toe, and a testicle to the three avatars to prove my devotion to them. I'm a religious man.
I'll turn to Gillin. Is this something that is asked?
It's a little weird, but it's not unheard of.
It's not generally asked, but those are three items that would be key to the three avatars. The virilness and fertility of the Firebringer is our friend's center. The toe, which until recently had contact with the earth at all times when he was awake, of course, for the Earth Beater. And the teeth, or rather tooth, it intercepts water every time we drink it. And it is as if a stone in a river. They are not common sacrifices, but they are important ones.
I see you're a religious person yourself, Witchburner. I did it. I offered the gods a gift because I wanted to brew spirits like no one had ever brewed spirits before. I wanted to be a master distiller, and they accepted my gift, and I make some damn fine spirits. And he like reaches over and pulls out a jug and like offers it.
Thank you, Peppy.
You're very welcome. We gotta catch that witch. I want to help.
Your sacrifices are noticed and witnessed, Mr. Oldson.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm married. I adopted a daughter. You know, it's like a family. I care about the town.
It's easy to see your care.
Thank you. It's getting late. I should go. I should go home.
You should, but before you do, have you seen anything unusual today?
Well, there was all the salamanders falling from the sky.
There
and
was
the mayor
that.
says that I gotta figure out how to cook them. I don't know how to eat a salamander, but
Neither do I, but
It's
they...
just salt.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And he just like starts to head out the door, distasteful look on his face.
I'm gonna go through some of the bins.
You find nothing else unusual.
I look crazy. Great.
You look thorough, Mateo.
Appreciate it.
Thoroughness is next to waterliness.
All right. So, as you guys head back upstairs to get to your rooms for the night, assuming you're sleeping, you can see that Ursula, like Anya, is just like furiously scrubbing a table, like just not looking at Ursula, who is just like, "I'm sorry, okay," next to her. And that's the end of day 6, assuming you all sleep.
Yes.
I certainly do.
Yes. I'm here for the marital unbliss. That's like the most realistic thing yet.
Forgetting to make your intentions clear to your spouse and then disappearing for 2 days and showing up like nothing happened.
Yep. Yep.
Womp womp.
All right. So, would you guys like to kind of speed through day 7, just to have a full week under our belts before we break?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, let's there's a couple.
Make this one a quick one.
There's one thing I want to do.
Okay.
Which I can just declare to the group and we can decide if we want to save it or not. I want to inspect the child.
Oh yes.
With the doctor.
Yes.
But I also want to get inside the doctor's home.
Yes.
I'm down with that being the thing we do today.
Doggos. Awesome. All right. Well, day 7 dawns. It's kind of like misty, spitty kind of rain. Unpleasant. And it's a little cool. The river seems higher than normal.
Okay.
With all the rain.
Find the assistant from the first day who said that they could get the child's body for us.
Oh, okay. So I think
Or War Glory?
Yes, thank you.
So it wouldn't be him specifically because he's a clerk at a warehouse, but when you ask around, I think someone can they can find someone to take you to the cemetery. Do you ask the doctor to be present?
No, I want the body dug up and brought to the doctor's home.
Okay. So everyone looks a little uneasy and a little distasteful. So you make your way to the cemetery. You pass by part of the town you haven't spent a whole lot of time in yet. You haven't really gone through yet. But there's like a long like cobblestone street that has houses on one side and then just like benches and a fence and trees overlooking kind of like just like a natural like drop, like a very large hill in the middle of town kind of thing. And there's a lot of older people sitting on the benches, just like chattering and talking, and they all kind of fall silent and stare at you as you walk down. So a lot of older women, a lot of older men. This is the road that leads towards the cemetery. Do you do anything to them falling silent and staring at you?
I don't.
Okay. So as soon as you are like clearly past them, they immediately start chattering up again. It was like a flock of crows just like cawing at each other, and it fell silent when you walked by. But you get to the cemetery there. There's a very large tree there, and there's several smaller graves, a couple of old graves that are larger there, and there's a young man there. The town official, they dig up a small wooden box. Say, are you sure? Should we just take it right to the doctor, or?
Yeah, let's speed through this part and get it to the
Yeah.
doctor.
I just supervise.
Yeah, they look very
That's all.
uneasy and like are reluctant to hold the box.
Okay.
I think we should speed through a fair amount of this and just like extract what we need to know from it.
Yeah.
So you take it over to the doctor, to Dr. Cleanline's house. Let me pull her up here. So it's Ivana Cleanline. Her house is called the Southcomer. It's massive. It's got arches, just like vaulted kind of ceilings, heavy shutters, red white. And takes you back. You're ushered back into there, deep to the surgery in the house, which is just solid stonework. You think no one must ever hear screams from surgery from this room.
Lovely.
So while all this happens, I want to investigate, see if I can find any shadows.
Just kind of look around the house as you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So are you working together or are you working separately?
Separate.
Yeah, separate.
So
Sorry,
both of you
Robin.
make rolls. And Gillin and Mateo, if you also want to do that, you can.
9.
Also 9.
Okay.
I ended up with a 7.
I'm staying with the body and the doctor, and
So not doing any kind of looking around while you're walking through the house?
no, but I'm also, or rather, Gillen's also making sure that the doctor's focus is directed.
Excellent. All right. Okay, so Renny, what's your highest stress?
2. In Goodwill.
And Mateo, what's your highest stress?
My stress is gone.
Oh, okay. Very carefree.
Yeah.
But Robin.
So relatable.
Oh, I've got a 2 in body and a 2 in mind.
Yeah, I rolled a 1. So the second fall out of the game goes to Ian as well. And what was your roll?
I had a 9.
A 9. Okay, but you succeed.
Yep.
All 3 of you succeed, right? Kristina, you had a 7?
Yeah, at a 7.
Okay. And what was your roll, Miellyn?
A 9.
Okay, so Robin and Renny succeed with no stress, but Mateo is going to take 1 stress to his mind. So Renny, while you're looking, or not Renny, I think Mateo actually, while you're looking around, I think you find a large, beautiful chest.
Okay.
Wooden chest inside of the house. Right page here. And I think you're able to open it at one point. And you find several pieces of crumpled up handwritten music, like compositions.
Hmm.
Do you know anything about music? You don't necessarily have to have a skill or domain. We can just say character-wise if you feel like it's interesting.
I think he does. Probably not enough to read it, but he probably would have been a hand around the fire singing songs, but he would know what it looked like. He would recognize that it was music.
Okay, but not able to read it.
Probably not, no.
Okay. So there's a lot of sheet music. It is crumpled, and then smoothed back out. It's all been like written by hand, you can tell. Occasionally you see things like scribbled out or changed kind of thing. Like this is somebody's like composition that they made themselves. And there's just like reams of it in this chest. All of it crumpled up.
I think I'll snatch a couple sheets and kind of stick it in my vest.
Okay. I think that someone sees you do this. I think you see one of the tall men from the bonfire. You recognize him now. Tall, dark hair pulled back into a ponytail, wearing a necklace with a glass amulet on it. He just sees you and he doesn't say anything. But he narrows his eyes at you and gives you kind of a dirty look as he just like brushes past you and then opens the chest and just kind of stares at all of it in there. And you're going to take a stress to your goodwill.
Okay.
Renny, looking around inside, you are looking for strange things happening. Odd things inside the house. And I think you find in one of the rooms, you find decorations. You find 3 masks up on the wall with blue eyes and blue skin. And they're, tasseled and have bells on them. And it is creepy and weird and feels very occulty to you.
Okay.
And
Can I take a mask?
you can take a math to see. You can make a roll to see if no one is going to stop you, or you can make a roll if you prefer to just allow somebody to take it when they see it happening.
I'm gonna see what my skills are again, real quick.
If you have charm and something else.
I have charm and deception, which is misdirection, lies under, and other unacceptable styles of manipulation. I also have lie smoothly and an honest face.
Okay,
right?
so lie smoothly might be of use to you here if you want to use that ability.
Okay.
So if you read that for the people.
Okay, lie smoothly. Words are just tools, and you are an artisan. Add 1d10 to your next roll to convince someone of an untruth once per day. Alternatively, you can choose to have it simply succeed, but it costs you 2 stress. I want to roll 2d10s and say I was told I was allowed to take one of these masks.
Okay. I think one of the services, what do you do? Okay, and you say that. So what's your result?
Wait, I've got to find, let's see. Oh, my d10 was hiding. The highest roll is an 8.
Okay, so that's a clear success. I think the servant is like, oh, okay, yes, please. If the doctor cleans, I said it's fine, please.
Yes, the doctor said yes. So I take the mask off the wall and stick it in my bag.
All right, and Robin.
Yes. Great.
You're digging around, and I think you kind of find a pouch that kind of jingles a bit and a weird, like, clinking kind of sound. And you can surreptitiously open that and find it is full of teeth, inscribed with runes.
Oh, I'm taking that.
Yeah, human teeth.
Yeah. Nope. Fine.
All right.
Slip it into a pocket.
All right.
Teeth runes. Great. Wonderful. Lovely. Great.
Teeth
Love
runes.
It. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool,
human
cool,
teeth.
cool,
Very
cool, 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 cool,
clearly
cool,
human
cool,
teeth.
cool,
Like
no
they got
doubt.
the long
No
roots
doubt.
on it. It's gross and creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Very normal
We're
thing.
so gonna make necklaces later, Robin. It's cool.
You're gonna experience some fallout from that.
I am.
Yeah.
Yay.
I will let you know.
Bless.
I'll let you know. It's not going to happen immediately, but I'll let you know. So you make it.
Does that clear one of my tracks, though?
It will clear your mind track. So go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and clear it now, just mechanics wise, because I will forget about it if we don't do it now.
Yeah. Okay. I did.
All right, but we'll come back to what the fallout is. I know what it is, but you're not going to experience it right now.
Lovely. Haven't experienced any yet so far.
Oh,
Well,
you
a little
have.
bit.
You just don't know about it.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. So you make your way back to the surgery, where Dr. Cleanline is. Gillin, you're there. They have unboxed the body, and time's not been super kind to it. They don't do like preservation chemicals the way we do.
Can we speed through?
Mhm.
So, and she begins to perform an autopsy. Is there anything in particular you guys would want to see, would want to ask of her, would want to like gain from this experience?
Well, I want two things for me. I want to make a magic check on the body and see if there's anything abnormal about it magically, and then I also just want to observe her and her reactions to it and how she takes it.
Okay.
So I will 2 rolls, 1 magic roll and 1 insight roll.
Is insight an ability you have,
That's
or is
skill.
it
That I just have not used much.
Okay, so I was you can't do both at the same time.
No, I know. I want
because
to
they're both happening simultaneously. So it would have been you can. I'm saying you can't do both. You can do one or the other.
I would rather make the insight roll, I think.
Okay. All right. So roll for that.
I have a 7.
Okay. So a 7 is a success with stress. So I think you're gonna take a stress to goodwill because I think you are staring at her a little too intently, and it freaks her out a bit. And others in the room notice that you're staring a little bit too intently.
Fun. This is fun.
I look at him and I'm like, stop staring.
It's like wave you off. Like, kind of obviously. I'm just like,
Stop staring.
All right. And others, what are you doing during this?
Observing and asking questions of, is that normal? What
No.
what of that?
No, this is not normal.
That femur looks like it's been twisted a whole 370 degrees. What could do that?
Fast forward.
She tells you it's not great, but probably postmortem. And it definitely is not normal. And I think, Robin, what you notice is that she's not bothered by this at all. She is just cool as a cucumber.
do I feel like that's her medical training or like she's seen this before?
Not seen it before. Partly medical training, partly just her disposition. Not a lot seems to get her real excited about it anyway. What's Mateo doing during this?
I think he might not have. I think he's like keeping it in the room within sight, but I'm not sure if he's going in. But the man who kind of confronted him, I think he would just kind of ask if he's Jonah.
Yes, he is Jonah Prizepiece, Dr. Cleanline's husband.
I guess I'd apologize and take the music back. I'm in the business of collecting evidence. It looked like strange writing to me, and I wasn't sure what it was, so I was concerned. What is this?
He looks a little like annoyed, but it does accept your explanation. He says it's music. I'm a composer. I write music every night, and every morning I realize it's rubbish and throw it away. But it would appear my wife disagrees and has been keeping them.
You mean you write these strange words in their music?
Yes, but not words precisely. It's not exactly the same as in a book, but similar. Yes.
What does it say?
Well, this one, and he takes it and he like hums a bit of the melody and kind of sort of fake conducts a little bit, and he says, and then this part here, and he reads you a different melody.
Why would you throw it away?
Oh, because it's terrible.
I liked it very much.
Well, that's kind of you.
I'm not kind.
Oh.
And I'll just leave.
It actually
Matter
did
of
sound
fact,
kinda nice.
Mateo.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So stealing that.
Alrighty.
Yeah, and I'll
But-
just meet everyone else back after the autopsy.
Okay.
So you do learn that the eye was not the only abnormality.
Okay.
The whole thing, there's many such abnormalities throughout the body. Very strange. Strangest thing is that people saying that that it spoke when it was born, like a word.
What was the word?
Name of an unknown god.
Oh yeah, right. Oh, kind of a word.
But if the god was unknown, then how did people know that it was a god?
People give you dirty looks when you ask.
Perfect. Great.
Renny goes, I know, I was wondering the same thing. Do you think it would be cool if I put this mask on? Renny says.
What was the god?
What was the name?
People are very reluctant to repeat it for you. If you would like to push people, I'm going to ask you to make a roll.
I'll make one.
Can I help by being unspokenly threatening?
Ooh, do you want to use your unspoken threat ability?
I'm gonna stand behind Robin and just glower.
All right. Read the people what it says.
Okay. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I unspoken threat. I give a flex a muscle or a pointed glance, and the implication is clear either way. And Robin can add or I can add a D10 to my next roll designed to intimidate, force, or coerce. And if I use it against someone who fears me, it simply succeeds.
All right. So, I don't think anyone here currently fears you, but we'll say that you could make the roll.
Okay.
I don't know, Robin
and
might be a little intimidated.
I know, I was thinking the same thing about Renny. She might be kind of scared.
He's like
I
hovering
got
over Robin, glowering, and Robin's just like,
So
"Ugh."
you get one die just for making the roll, period, just like you always do. You get one die for this ability, and then you would get a die for any skill or any domain you have that applies.
okay. I guess could I use bureaucracy to kind of know some pressure points? This isn't exactly a bureaucratic
yeah, bureaucracy
threaten.
is more about the like machinations of governments and political bodies.
Okay.
So unless
Yeah.
you want to make some kind of official threat, like with some
No.
paperwork.
Ooh, yeah. I'll file ya, I will. I think
About to get
deception.
filed, motherfucker.
Okay, how is deception applying here?
I don't actually want to hurt these people.
Okay. You're bluffing.
Yeah, I'm bluffing. Yeah, I know I'm big, and I know I'm not very smart, but I can do this.
All right. Sure, apply it.
Okay. So I got a 1 and I got a 10.
All right. So you got a 10, and what's your stress stat again?
I have 1 mind and 1 goodwill.
Let me check something here.
You can roll for me also, because I also am trying to get the information out of them with charm and religion.
Okay.
And
all right.
I'm just
You'll make that
using
roll.
insight to gauge their feelings about sharing this information and if they're being truthful. You can add one for me too.
All right. So you said you only have 1 stress, Kristina?
I have 2.
You have
1 on
2,
mind, 1 on
but
goodwill.
1. Okay. So you very narrowly avoid fallout.
Okay.
All right, and what is the your roll, Gillin?
Also 10.
Excellent. And do you have any stress?
No, I guess it didn't matter if you rolled or not. Sorry.
I like rolling.
Okay, well then.
All right, and Robin?
I didn't roll. I was contributing.
Oh, I see.
So between the two of you, you're able to extract the name of Amimam. 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 They call it the unknown god because they don't like to use its name because its name invokes it and gives it power. And they are very spooked.
One
Having
of those.
to say it. Yeah. Ian. I saw that.
That's what I heard.
Amimam. It's from the book, okay?
I know. That's what I heard. That's what I heard in my head.
They don't like it. They also call it the eater of virility. And they mean not just like take your fertility, but also yes, like kill your libido, kill your ability to have to perform. They also like your zest for life, your zeal, your literal hunger, appetites, like anything that like gives you energy or pleasure in life, it will consume. So a little disturbing to hear that from anything, but especially from a newborn.
You said eater of pleasure?
Eater of virility.
Virility.
So basically a baby.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I'm glad the parent in the group said it.
Let's be real. Okay. Renny's really trying to hold it together over in the corner. Like, this is the unknown god. I don't know, y'all. So Renny says, do we feel like we've gotten everything we need here?
No, but I feel like we've gotten all that we can.
Okay, semantics, mister. That's fine.
All right, do you head back? What are you doing now that you've got this?
I think if we're trying to speed through this day, I think that maybe we spent more than a single watch there.
Yeah. Renny can't wait to get back to the hotel room and try on her new mask, so.
While we're walking back, though, and in private, I will say, could we be dealing with a cult?
Potentially.
Do cults have this kind of power, though?
Good.
If this is the result of divine wrath, then a cult could either focus or redirect wrath that already exists, or create new wrath directed at them.
Yeah.
When you guys make it back to the inn, a woman is there waiting for you with a very delicious smelling pie on the table in front of her. And she stands and kind of like nods her head to you when you come in. She's very tall. Taller than any man you've ever met. And her hair is just kind of like wild everywhere. She's attempted to braid it and it's just everywhere.
Have we never seen her before?
Not by name. You're not sure who she is, but she does introduce herself and says, good evening, Witchburners. I'm Stella Slingstrider. Just wanted to officially welcome you to our town. I brought you a pie.
I stick my hand out and shake it in a very soft, very gentle way. Hello, Stella.
Hi. And she just willingly shakes your hand. She's fairly young. She looks like she's maybe about 20-ish.
I look at the pie and then look at her, then look at the pie again, then look at Renny, then look at the other two. It's kind of like.
I say to Stella, would you like to sit with us?
Sure, yeah. We should talk. And she motions, and Ani brings over some some spiced cider to serve you with your apple pie. She slices it up for you, brings you plates. It's pretty good. Um, I she's like definitely struggled with something, and she finally gets it out and says, "Who are you investigating right now?"
Who should we
Everyone.
be investigating?
Well, if you haven't already uh looked, you should perhaps look pretty close to where we are. And she kind of turns and looks towards the kitchen and looks back down. I've heard stories about Pepe.
What
We've heard
kind of stories?
That he made a deal with demons, that his amazing ability to distill spirits is something he stole from the fairies. Heard that his daughter isn't really a war orphan, that he adopted out of the kindness of his heart, that she's actually some kind of, I don't know, changeling or something, or that she's a demon. People say things about his husband. I don't. I There's a lot of rumors, and like any one of them is easy to shake off, but there's a lot of rumors.
Um, no, never mind.
I look Stella straight in the eyes and I say, "Did you used to have a relationship with Peppy?"
No. Like,
Who did who did you have a relationship with?
I don't know how much that's your business, but I'm seeing Zenobia, clockmaker,
Currently?
currently, yes.
How
And
long?
her father doesn't approve, does he?
My father's an asshole. He doesn't approve of anybody.
Hmm.
Um, about 6 months ish, something like that.
Hmm.
Is Ivan's disapproval why you spat on the idol of love?
I didn't spit on an idol of love. Why would I do that? Why would I want to curse myself like that?
Interesting.
Is there anyone here who looks like you? You're very striking.
Thank you, I think, but I'm very tall, and I am like clearly not a man. So I don't think so. Somebody say I did that?
Do you hold ill will against the gods?
I'm training to become a priest. I'm going to take over after my father. I honor the water drinker above all else.
That's not an answer.
I don't have any ill will with the gods. No.
Thank you. That's an answer.
Good grief. I should think that was an answer what I gave you, but fine.
The paths that are chosen for us are not always the ones we desire.
This path wasn't chosen for me. My father wouldn't teach it to me for 10 years until I threatened to go leave and go do it myself in the Eastern City, and he finally relented. This is who I am. It's who I've meant to be. It's who I want to be. It is what the gods have told me.
The gods have told you. That is very impressive.
They speak if you know how to listen.
Insight. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And roll insight there.
Okay, and that's an ability you have?
Skill.
Skill. Okay.
I have a 10.
She is telling the honest truth. She believes it fully. She has heard the gods. She knows it to be the gods. She believes that they speak if you know how to listen.
My apologies. What have they told you lately?
They told me that something evil is happening in the town. That it will get worse before it gets better. They say there's a lot of danger here in the town. I should go. It's getting late. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your help and your service in finding the switch.
Thank you for clarifying some things. I am curious if how well you know of the sacrifices for the trio. Do you know of the 3T sacrifice?
That one's for men. Yeah.
It
There's
is for men.
testicle toe.
Peppy
Yeah.
is missing a tooth, a toe, and a testicle.
Oh.
I don't believe that his proficiency with spirits is demonic, but rather divine.
That's quite a relief, actually. I'm glad. Peppy's a nice person. I didn't want it to be him. But I felt it was my duty. I had to say something to help, and that's what I had heard. Like I said, they were all rumors, and any of them were easy to shake off, but there were a lot. So, but
it's understandable.
Water drinker, look over you all. She heads out the door.
And you.
Thank you for the pie.
Right. Any last minute things you guys want to do before?
Want to eat as much pie as possible.
Don't let that pie go to waste.
Heck no.
It's not the best pie you've ever had in your life, but it's a pretty good pie.
Are there salamanders in this pie?
There are no salamanders, only apples and spices.
Okay.
All right. So we'll call that an end to the 7th day, unless there's anything else.
No?
All right. So that's where we're going to wrap for tonight then. We've made it through 1 week in the town of the Bridge of St. Cleareyes while looking for a witch to burn. All right. So let's go back around to tell people where they can find you. What's going on? Let's start with, we're going to go in the other order. Miellyn, you go first.
Oh, hi. I'm Miellyn Barrows. You can find me at Miellyn B on Twitter. I make stories and tweet about random reality stuff. It doesn't matter. Just follow me. We'll have a good time. It's cool.
All right. Kristina?
Hi, I'm Kristina. You can find me on Twitter at D20XTina. Some things I've been up to recently. I'm on Off the Table every other Wednesday playing Glitter Hearts, which is a magical girl RPG. And you can find the VOD for the actual play I just did, promoting the Dreadful Realms Cavern of the Wise Minister Kickstarter. It is a dark underground city setting for 5e, and it is dreadful. I cried.
Oh, I'm excited.
I'm not a crier. I cried in this level 0 adventure. It is dark and it is sad and it'll give you the feels, and I'm so very excited, and the adventure path is just unlocked, so if you're not already on it, go check that out.
Okay, you're gonna have to send me that link in the Discord because like I
Oh,
need
yeah.
to see this now.
I got it. It's so good.
For research purposes, clearly.
It's so
Clearly.
good.
Clearly. We need more horror D&D.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. And Hiromi.
Hi, I'm Hiromi. You can find me on Twitter at Hiromi Cota. You can see everything that I've written or published over at hiromicota.com. I also have a Kickstarter to announce, but that's like Monday the Kickstarter for Dead Man's Rust, which is a giant mega adventure for Scarred Lands, which is the most metal setting for D&D. I'm not kidding. Like there was a whole war between the gods and the Titans, and one of the Titans got torn into thousands of pieces, and the blood and ichor from that destruction has befouled the lands and made trees pissed off and want to punch people.
Yeah.
The horns of the unicorns are actually chainsaws. I'm only slightly exaggerating.
They're
Only
serrated,
slightly.
Yeah.
One of the
Okay, that sounds
scenes
amazing.
is made up entirely of blood, and like this adventure will get you from level 1 past 10. It is a lot of fun. It will take you all over Gelspad. It's pretty fucking cool. I'll be announcing that when it goes live on Monday. If you like queer genre fiction, I write a lot of that. You can get that from the links on my website. And I'm a snake girl on Saturdays who wears full snake girl face paint. And then I, cast spells and have ADHD. It's great. That's on Saturdays over on the Onyx Path Twitch.
Excellent. All right, Ian. Tell the people who you are, where they can find you if they didn't know.
I'm Ian, or Ravnos, on all the places where you can find Ravnoses. And you can usually find me here in this exact channel, often at this time. Gehenna Gaming. If you want to learn more about what we do, go to gehennagaming.com. Check it out. We have a podcast. We have a Patreon. We have a Twitch channel that we stream on.
You have merch.
Dare I say every night of the week in the near future?
It's just about
Starting in 2 weeks. Yeah, it's every night of the week.
Nice.
Because we have a cult game starting up on Wednesdays, and we have a surprise coming on Fridays.
Yes. There's a Discord. It's great. You should join.
Yep, there's a Discord. I'll drop a link for that in a
Yes.
minute. We have merch. We have glassware you can pick up from our friends at Rusted Icon. And the only other thing I have going on in the near future is this Sunday, I will be playing in the 3rd episode of Iron City by Night, run by my dear friend, Brother Wesley, of Carry Comfort Studios. You can check that out over on twitch.tv/Carry Comfort Studios. We have an amazing cast of people. It's a lot of fun, and terrible, terrible things are going to happen to us. I love it.
It'll be wonderful.
I think that's it.
Awesome. And again, my name is Stephanie, and I am one half of Charm Person Games. We do this professionally. If you like my storytelling style, you can book me at charmpersongames.com. And you can also follow us on the Twitters. It's like 80% my business partner and 20% me, but I'm trying to post more because Twitter. Anyway, you can find us there, and you can also find me back here tomorrow night because I'll be playing in an actual play for Ace Adventure, run by our good friend Brian. You can also find Brian and I on Monday nights for Monday Night Monster Hearts. And Brian again is the MC there, and I play Queen of the Fae.
Wonderful.
Nice.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I'll drop links to Discord and other fun things, but you can find them all below the video on our Twitch page, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye!